Welcome to the Intercourse Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. Today we have a very exciting show for you. We are discussing streaming. How is streaming affecting artists? Well, we have a very credible source who is talking about the subject. It is Teddy Riley. Now, Teddy Riley is a world-renowned producer. He used to be a part of the group Blackstreet, and he's done a lot of things from working with Michael Jackson on to the greatest of the great musicians. And he has a position. He believes that the streaming artists, the streaming platforms such as the YouTubes, the Apples, the Spotifys, they're robbing the artists. That's his take. I haven't seen this video, so we're going to go ahead and jump into it. But I did want to, see what he was talking about in this particular video. So let's go ahead.
This might be the only delivery service that actually feels chef made, because it is. This is Cook Unity, and if you're someone that enjoys
Okay, that was the Math Hoffa show. Definitely check him out. But Teddy Riley did raise a really, really good point. How do we feel about the streaming services? Obviously, they're sort of the major medium by which music is distributed nowadays. People get on a monthly subscription. They essentially have access to all this music. And then once the proceeds come in from the monthly subscriptions, they give they trickle out the portions of their of the income that they gathered out to the artists. Now the question is that model more advantageous for the artists than the model of just essentially selling vinyl? Well, a lot of artists are doing it the opposite way. They stopped I'm not going to say they stopped streaming, but they've also started releasing their products, their music out on vinyl, meaning you can get physical records of your actual music, and the artist gets to keep more of the money that way. So there's a lot of artists who's actually releasing their music in that manner, which is causing companies to look at it, record companies to look at it and to ask, okay, is there ways for us to potentially bring that back? And it seems like Universal, that was brought up by Teddy Riley, is actually implementing it. But it's a real thing. I think it's causing a lot of confusion for artists because they're just so excited about expressing their talent to the world that in so doing, they may in some ways be, working against themselves as they do that, because the more and more you sorry, feed just came across. The more and more you compromise your art, right, the harder it is to reclaim, the proceeds from the art. And I think the record companies are constantly evolving how they can get the upper hand. It's almost like a casino. When you go to a casino, you're never going to beat the house. The casino is always going to figure out how to get the upper hand. And there are a few artists that pave the way and do things different. Tory Lanez is notorious for being able to distribute his music himself digitally, doing various marketing campaigns and things of that nature. And he was able to maximize the profits and keep his money. I think an older guy who's done it, Master P, has done it. I think Cash Money initially did it. There's a few guys, because they structured their deals differently. Even Rockefeller at one point have done it. But a lot of other artists who's just coming in, a lot of them don't have their masters. I think I heard some stuff about NBA Youngboy. I don't know if he's got his masters now, but the point is, artists have a lot more power, But unfortunately, they don't think that. They don't think that they do. And it results in them, ultimately compromising themselves and getting the short end of the stick. So it'll be interesting to see how the trend flows with that. As the technology increases and gets better, I think it empowers artists to distribute their music more easily. The question is, can you create a platform that the record companies will not eventually exploit? Because the record companies are exploiting it now, the streaming companies are exploiting it, and now it leaves the artists kind of, not as handsomely compensated as they could be. All right, that's my views on that. I'd love to get your take. Like and subscribe this video and to the channel. Let me hear your point of view. Here at the Inner Core Show, we welcome all sorts of feedback and commentary and things of that nature. What do you think about the streaming services, whether it's the video YouTube streaming service or Spotify or Apple or Netflix or whatever? What do you think about that? Do you believe they're being fair in terms of how they allocate proceeds from, to the artists? Or do you think they're, kind of playing an unfair game because they don't really disclose how much they've collected, right? Specifically with regards to that particular artist. Weigh in. Let me know what you think. Yours truly, Mr. B, signing out.